Hey, it's Andy. Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be my 24-hour readathon of Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. It's currently Friday, or day 5 of Spookathon, about to be day 6. It's now 10 o'clock, so I'm going to do this readathon from now until 10 o'clock tomorrow night. And we'll see how much of this behemoth I can get through. Earlier in the week, I read the first 50 pages, and I'm into it. I left off in the beginning of part 2. So I'm super excited to see where this goes. I have seen reviews that say that the last 200 pages kind of loses them. So, I don't know. Fingers crossed we don't have that experience. This book follows our main characters, Christopher and his mom, Kate. And the two of them have just moved into a new town because Kate left an abusive relationship. While at his new school, Christopher is having a really hard time with being bullied. And one day when he's in the library, some random friend that he doesn't know messages him. And then he goes into some forest. Yeah, which is where I left off. And it says, Christopher was not seen or heard from for 6 days. Boom, part 2. So definitely dramatic. We're gonna see how much of this I can get through before I end up falling asleep. I'm planning on taking a bath, so I'm planning on getting a good bath and a bath bomb going, so I can usually get a lot of good reading done that way. I'll talk to you when I got more to say. Okay, so it's Saturday, 11:15. I ended up sleeping from like 4 to 9, but I mean, we're to page 303, chapter 32. There are 14 hours left of the audiobook, and I've been listening on like 2.5. So I think this might actually happen, guys. This is creepy as heck, but I'm really liking it. Alright, so we're ending the 24 hours with a face mask. They're little donuts with faces. They're adorable. So it's like almost 10:30 now, and I did finish Imaginary Friend. As far as a star rating goes, I'm not really sure yet. I need to sleep on it and let it settle. I will say that I did enjoy this. It was very weird, but it did keep my interest until the end, so that's good. Now, one thing I didn't expect is how religious this ended up being. And I guess I'm still trying to decide if a couple parts felt preachy or not. But I guess Chbosky was really trying to drive home some certain points. Without like giving major plot points away, there's a lot to do with like Catholic guilt, there's slut shaming. It showcased the struggles of being a religious teenager and having, you know, normal, natural teenage urges. One thing the book did really well was showcase the cycle of violence, meaning like physical abuse and even mental emotional abuse, and how that a lot of times is passed down generation to generation. And also the fact that violence breeds violence. You know, retaliating one violent act with another just is a whole spiral. So that's what I've been able to process so far. I'm about to just relax with some Netflix or YouTube and probably pass out very soon. And I will end off this video tomorrow with a Spookathon wrap-up. So I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, it's Sunday now, and as promised, I'm gonna go ahead and do a wrap-up of everything I read this past week during Spookathon. The first book I finished was Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. Yeah, I probably just butchered that. This is a sci-fi about a girl named Binti who gets the opportunity to go to a university. This book just is all about her journey to get to this university, and a lot of crazy, weird things happen. It's only 90 pages, so I don't really want to get into plot because I'll just spoil the whole thing. This completed the challenge for read something that you normally wouldn't, and I gave it 3 stars. I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. It kind of left me a little confused, but I have picked up the rest of this series to hopefully get to sometime soon. Next, I read Misery by Stephen King. This completed the challenge of read a book with a spooky word in the title, and I'd say the word misery is pretty spooky. This is all about Paul Sheldon, who writes this famous series called Misery, and it's actually not his favorite series. He kind of feels like he sold out writing it. And in the latest book, he kills off the main character. Then enters Annie Wilkes, who finds Paul after he's had a car accident and keeps him captive in her house and makes him rewrite the last book to not kill off Misery. This was really graphic, really creepy, and I enjoyed it. It's made me really want to pick up more books by King, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I also watched the movie, which I really liked. I think I might like the movie a little more than I liked the book, and it made me want to call everyone Dirty Bird. Then I read House of Salt and Sorrows by Aaron A. Craig, and this completed the challenge of to read a book with a spooky setting. This takes place in a mansion called Highmore, which is on an island. This follows our main character, Anna Lee, and her sisters. This book starts off with her sister Eulalie's funeral. A lot of her sisters keep dying, and there's some unusual circumstances, and the whole town thinks that this family is cursed. This book did a lot. It's part thriller, part mystery, part romance, and also created its own pantheon of gods and goddesses, which was really neat. This really had me guessing until the end. I was hooked, and I really didn't see the big plot twists coming. Very good standalone mystery, thriller, fantasy, and I'm really glad I read it in the fall time. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next was Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. This wasn't on my original TBR, but I decided to pick it up anyway. I listened to the audio for this in like a day and a half, and it was really good. It does start off pretty slow, in my opinion. It took me a little bit to actually care, I guess. This takes place in London in the 1800s and follows our main character, Audrey Rose. And her uncle is a mortician, and she wants to follow in his footsteps and perform autopsies and figure out the cause of deaths and help solve murders. Now, this does take place when Jack the Ripper is causing all sorts of havoc in England, and she's determined to find out who this killer is. I really liked Audrey's love interest in this story, Thomas. He was so funny and like cocky and sweet at the same time. Like, he was awkward but still cocky, which was funny. I did kind of see the end coming right before it did, but it was still very satisfying. And I am so excited to continue with this series. I definitely get the hype, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Now, you've already heard me talk about this book throughout this video. Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. This completed the challenge of read a thriller. And guys, I think I finally decided to give this 4 out of 5 stars. It was definitely weird and creepy and kept me guessing. And as I mentioned before, I did enjoy some of the themes that were brought up. But then the ending kind of felt a little obvious once it got going, and I kind of felt dumb in a way when like I wasn't expecting that, because I didn't expect it to be so obvious, I guess is the word I'm looking for. The major point of this story is Daniel goes into the woods one day and isn't seen for 6 days. And then he is found again and has no idea where he was. And then that's where the story really takes off. Don't want to say too many other things without just giving the plot away, really. And last but not least was Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This completed the challenge of read a book with red on the cover, which red and red. This book follows Kaz, Inej, Nina, Matthias, Waylon, and Jesper. And I absolutely love every single one of my trash babies, and I don't know who my favorite is. Now, full disclosure, it is like late afternoon, the last day of Spookathon right now, and I am like 75% into this book, and I'm about to finish it. But I already know this is gonna get 5 stars, y'all. The plot of this book is that these 6 characters have to break into a place called the Ice Court, which is supposed to be impenetrable and like highly guarded. And they have to get into the prison in this place, which I kind of think of as Alcatraz. Honestly, I was in love after Kaz's first chapter. I was like, yep, this is it. This is the one. Once again, Leigh Bardugo is an absolute goddess writing genius. And I'm going to stop talking so I can actually go finish this book. Comment down below and let me know if you participated in Spookathon and what your favorite read was. You can check out some of my social medias, linked down below. And go ahead and click subscribe if you want to see more of my face. And you can go ahead and check out some of my other videos if you want. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!